Heya, this is Sydney, and I am here to talk us through Thursday, April 17th, 2025. It is Jupiter's day, and today we got some action for Jupiter and Gemini, still in his detriment. Um, Jupiter and Gemini has really been offering us collectively a lot of information, a lot of data, right? Not necessarily facts, but a lot of data and ideas for us to be kind of sifting through and going through uh, during its tenure in Gemini. And for those who have Gemini aspects in their chart, I think that people have found a sense of expansion, a lot of growth in that particular area of their chart, to the point where they kind of need to make sense of what is right and what is wrong in that area, right? A lot of options, but maybe not all the options are good. So at 7:58 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we do have the moon opposite Jupiter in Gemini. Now, this is like overthinking a lot of ideas and kind of big feelings, right? Not intense feelings, but just like big feelings. And I think there's just like an awareness of what we have emotionally been going through. Moon opposite Jupiter in Gemini can cause an emotional overreaction, right? We have a semi-square to Pluto, so that now there's this sense of like anxiety and obsession that's not quite there. It's like whispering behind our ear, right? It's like, don't you feel some sort of way? And you're like, maybe, perhaps. And then 4:20 p.m., we got a biquintile to Mars from the moon. So this can make us feel kind of competitive, really kind of trying to like go forth and do the things that we need to do. And I like the biquintile. Moon trine Chiron, I think, is a really nice aspect considering all of the hard aspects that we've had from the moon to Chiron in the last few days. Now we have an opportunity for wisdom and healing around our wounds to kind of come into our emotional awareness. So I really like that. That's at 23 degrees, by the way, of the fire signs. We have moon trine sun. This is lovely. It's almost like we kind of go through it in the morning, we have some sort of reaction, and now things are starting to flow a bit. We don't mind that at all. And 8:43 p.m. moon in Sagittarius will square Venus in Pisces. Now, if you have the tendency to like overdo, overspend, overeat, I think this is the aspect that is going to be the kind of like, uh-oh, maybe you decided to eat a whole pint of ice cream instead of a scoop. And if you can do that and it doesn't have any repercussions for you, good for you. But I think that there could be a sense of kind of overdoing it at this moment. At 9:21 p.m., we do have Mars re-entering Leo. This is wonderful. It is left Cancer, thrilled, right? The sign of its fall. And now it's in a fire sign. So Mars is kind of getting passionate, right? He's getting a little silly. He's getting a little playful. He's getting a little bit bolder, directly bold. He's now in a fixed sign. He believes what he believes about how he wants to go and do things, right? But the caveat to Mars gaining a little bit of dignity by being in a fire sign and being in Leo is that now he is within a 3-degree range to this opposition to Pluto that will be building and coming to perfect next week. So passionate feelings, lots of things around anger and drive and even violence can kind of come into our awareness now and be building over the next week and a half. Just so you know, if you've been watching the Mars story for a while now, I know that I have, Mars doesn't clear its shadow until May 1st. That means Mars is still going over old territory around its drive, around the ways that he wants to go and like do the things that he does, around his passions, around anger, like all sorts of things, even issues around like men's issues or issues around masculinity are being still kind of traversed, going over old territory until May 1st. We then in the evening, late in the evening, Moon in Sag is going to quincunx Uranus and Taurus. This is needing to make some sort of very sudden adjustment. emotionally kind of being shocked, like, oh, I didn't know, and now I got to change. Shit, and then in the evening, 11:27 p.m., we get the moon in Sagittarius square Saturn in Pisces. This square feels very like the mood gets dampened. The party is over, right? This can be when we see moon square Saturn in a natal chart, we can see often like either issues with the body, having some sort of, issue or blockage having to the body being the moon. It can also be depression, like just feeling sad, right? Saturn is like a cold, wet, heavy blanket, right? Also, Saturn is asking for us to like master and have good boundaries. And so where the moon in Sag just kind of like shoots off like an arrow into the distance, it runs off like a pack of wild horses. Saturn goes, not so fast there, buddy. We need to talk about what's real, right? And with a mutable square, I think that there is an invitation. We're going to feel like we need to do something, and we need to really kind of just go with the flow with the mutable signs. So this could bring some frustration and some sadness and some depression in the evening. But again, it's a moon aspect. So expect for it to be able to pass. So just go to bed. That's always going to be my advice, is just go to bed. All right. I will see you to talk to you soon. Bye. Hey, thank you for listening to today's Astro Weather with me. I'm Sydney. As a reminder, I'm always open to seeing both new and my beloved returning clients. My website is ddastrology.com. That is D as in dog, D as in dog, astrology.com to check me out, and just click the email buttons in order to schedule with me. If you're into a more conversational feel with your podcast and content, I have a podcast called BS Astrology with my fellow Mercurial Mommy Bender, and we put out episodes every Sunday for the week. Just search BS Astrology on YouTube or wherever you enjoy listening to your podcast, including Spotify, Audible, and more. Have a good day.